All right, good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Brown, and I'm a top producer with Mediterra, Bellator, and Miracle Cash and more. And tonight I have the distinct pleasure to share with you all what we feel is the best opportunity on the planet, bar none. So, with that, I want to give an extra special welcome to our first time listeners and viewers. And I want to give two disclaimers. Okay. The first one is I'm not a financial advisor. So I don't give financial advice. I simply show people how to use their common sense to increase their financial freedom and gain their time freedom as well. Okay. Also, always remember past performance is never indicative or not necessarily indicative of future results as well. My second disclaimer is that I'm at the tail end of a pretty serious cold that I caught while in New York the other day. And so if you hear a sniffle or two, please charge it to my head and not my heart. All right. So with that, I want to let you all know again, Derek Brown out of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been in the home-based business industry for well over 30 years, and it's closer to 40. I think that's why I've been saying well over 30 years for the last 10 years, right? But had tremendous success, ladies and gentlemen. I've been able to accomplish all of my actual goals, to be honest with you. I've purchased my dream real estate. I purchased my dream vehicles, and but I have to be frank with you all. I'm no different than anyone else within the sound of my voice. I did everything. Listen to me closely. Did everything that Mama Brown told me to do, just like I'm sure you did. I was told by Mama Brown that I better go to school to get a good education so I can get a good job so I can get out of her house. Right. And again, I'm sure you all did the same thing. Well, I have to be frank with you though. After accomplishing all those tasks and getting into corporate America, I wasn't satisfied with a few things, and I think you all will be able to relate to each and every one of them. Number one, I wasn't satisfied with the quality time that I had to spend with my family because I was getting up at dark 30 in the morning, getting home at dark 30 at night. How many of you all can relate to that, right? And I found myself helping a company build their goals or build their dreams and reach their goals while they had no concern of what my personal goals were for me and my family. In addition to that, I wasn't happy with the income that I was making. It always seemed like on the first of every month or almost every Friday on payday, my spouse and myself at the time, while we looked great on the outside, the fact of the matter was, especially on the first of the month, we'd be behind closed doors fussing like cats and dogs because we were always trying to figure out how to make ends meet. And it seemed like the ends were burning from both ends, if you know what I mean. And I'm always in a position where you're robbing Peter and Paul, right? Not only that, there was always more month left at the end of my money. And I don't want you to agree, don't raise your hand on that one, but I know several of you can agree to that. So I ended up over 30 years ago meeting a gentleman who's still a friend to this day who was making more in a month than I was making an entire year after college and after having a great so-called corporate job. This gentleman's making more in a month than I'm making in a year. And I see him driving his dream cars and all this stuff. Well, he told me something. He said, Derek, I'm going to show you how to work smart and not work just hard. Ladies and gentlemen, that was again well over 35 years ago. And it has been a tremendous dream come true. But what I found to be just as important as the finances, financial freedom is phenomenal. But to be able to have the time freedom to enjoy those finances with those who matter most, that's priceless. So, this industry that I was introduced to allowed me, being an average person, to position myself to make above average income because I was open to a concept. I was open to an idea at a particular time. So this evening, very briefly, what I'm here to do is I'm here to introduce you to a concept, an idea, and give you insight throughout this short conversation that we're going to have tonight to let you know that this is probably the best scenario that I've seen. Not matter of fact, not probably. I have to take that back. And I don't say this facetiously. This is the best opportunity. It's almost like everything I've been through, everything I've experienced, everything I've learned, everything I've earned, everything I've lost, everything I've gained over the last 30 years was all to come across this opportunity that I'm about to share with you all right now. So we're going to jump right into this. And the first thing I have is a question for you. Are you earning cryptocurrency daily? See, whether or not you understand that we're not on the way to a digital society, we're actually in a digital society. Whether you're a full-time crypto trader or a full-time crypto purchaser where you're speculating and hoping that the crypto you're purchasing is going to increase, or whether you never even heard of the blockchain and cryptocurrency, I need you to clearly understand that number one, our industry has leveled the playing field. It's been totally level. It has been leveled. The industry has been leveled. That's what I love about the home-based business industry. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what political affiliation you are. It doesn't matter how much you weigh. It doesn't matter, about your past. None of that matters. What matters is, do you have eyes to see and ears to hear when a phenomenal opportunity comes across your path? So, again, understand, not getting into politics. I don't do that. I stay focused on business. But you have to understand that the current president has made an open statement. And he said that he's going to make sure that the United States is the crypto capital of the world. What does that mean to you and I if you have half an ear on what's going on with finances in our society? That means you want to position yourself ahead of this wave and not get crushed by it. So if you position yourself ahead of it, that means you can catch it and ride it straight to your financial freedom. Again, if you understand in business, timing is everything. So we're not here to talk about trading crypto. We're not here to talk about buying cryptocurrency. I want to make that clear up front. As a matter of fact, if this is your first time hearing this, my attention and everything that I'm speaking of is for and towards you. I want you to understand that because you're going to have to make sure that you take your ego off for a moment and sit it to the side. And all of us are going to put our business caps on because the only thing that will allow you to miss what I'm about to share with you is ego. That is the only thing. Doesn't matter if you're currently doing something. Doesn't matter if you called yourself burnt out. We've all been through that. You're about to hear where home now is for what I call the wounded warriors, for all of those who've been through rug pulls, you've lost money, and companies have failed you throughout the past. Well, some of you may be currently in a platform where you're successful, but I want you to understand that Bellator, Miracle Pay and More, Mediterra, all under the Mediterra umbrella, has now created a home for us as wounded warriors. Now, for those of you, again, who've never heard about the blockchain and cryptocurrency, you're in an even better space, right? Because you don't have any scarring or, war wounds. I got so many wounds on my back, it looks like a train track, right? So with that being said, I said all that so you retool your mind because you've never seen anything like this if this is your first time hearing this information. This isn't just some regular platform. We're going to make that clear in just a moment in this brief conversation. So in this short clip that I'm about to show you, which I have a few short clips to show you, that I want you to make sure you turn your speakers up ahead of time and pay close attention because these short clips are going to give you the key insight to what we're talking about tonight. So this gentleman is not affiliated with us, but he's going to eloquently explain exactly what our product is and what it does for you, what it can do for you, okay? So he's going to talk about the fact that when crypto first started, you had an opportunity to acquire what's called a mining machine. It was an actual piece of hardware about this big. They could be bigger than that. They could be huge. They were encumbersome. They were expensive. And they would run your electricity bill through the roof, but they would allow you to mine Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, right? Well, we're in a new phase, even in the crypto space, in the blockchain space. But there is a huge difference even in what he's going to share with you and what we have to offer. And that's going to be the aha moment that I'll clarify in a moment. So turn your speakers up, listen to the short clip, and we're going to get into it.
Did make millions of dollars in crypto, but I don't trade crypto and I don't buy crypto. I make it. So I started making Bitcoin at $220. That in itself is crazy. So we started mining Bitcoin. We were making a lot of money. We were like, man, if Bitcoin ever gets to $10,000, we're going to be rich. This guy that was mentoring me, he was worth $100 million. I became one of his top guys. And at that time, I didn't know anybody worth that kind of money. It just sounds preposterous to the average person. For the next 7 years, I learned software instead of hardware mining. So when you mine Bitcoin, you have a physical piece of machine. You plug it into the network. It confirms transactions. You make Bitcoin. On the platform that we launched, which was a company called Gala Games, we worked at Snoop, the death row chain that Snoop gave me. Kind of crazy. And instead of hardware, we had software. So these software nodes will confirm transactions on the blockchain. Every time you buy something on that blockchain, sell something, move some money back and forth, there's a fee. That fee goes up in the cloud and it's split evenly between the node owners. So that very first blockchain that we launched, I only put 15,000 in. And for 2.5 years, those nodes just confirmed transactions. I had about 17 million tokens in my wallet. I watched it go from less than a penny to 5 cents, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 84 cents in a matter of like 5 months. So I went from $11,000 in software nodes to having over 11.4 million liquid currency.
Wow. From 11,000 in software nodes to 11.5 million in liquid currency in 5.5 months. Ladies and gentlemen, understand that the technology that you're hearing about can potentially position you to do that, and it costs nowhere near that amount to acquire one of our nodes. I want you to understand that. So when we get to the numbers, you'll see why I said what I just said. And remember, that's Derek Brown 101, okay? So my question for you as we get started is, what if you could participate in the largest industry on the planet and you could generate a passive income stream that would outlive your grandchildren? I want you to think about that. You see, I'm not a scholar in this area, but I heard there's a phenomenal book out there that says a good man or woman should leave an inheritance to their children's children. That means we're not supposed to just be focused on our children. We're supposed to be in position to lay in store for our unborn or even our born grandchildren. But most of us can't do that because we have a job that is barely allowing us to take care of what's in our immediate sphere. I want you to think about that. And what if you could purchase a product one time and get paid for it for life? Like acquiring a digital vending machine that just keeps giving and giving and giving. Would you take action? I want you to think about that, because we miss Bitcoin, we miss Amazon, we miss Tesla. And I know you did, because you wouldn't be on this call right now if you didn't. Neither would I. I'd be on my own island somewhere, right? But I want you to understand that the boat has come back around. The key is do you have eyes to see and ears to hear? So would you take action or would you procrastinate? And what if you had a limited amount of time to take action as well? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to introduce you to Bellator, Miracle Cash and More, and our umbrella company that our entire ecosystem is under, Mediterra. But before I can start explaining Bellator, you have to get a full understanding on the scope of what Miracle Cash and More is. So I'm going to show this first clip. Remember, these clips are super short, but you have to pay close attention because they're going to give you key insight, as this one is, into the fact that this is a true opportunity. Pay close attention, and we'll be right back.
Dear Bellator family, we wanted to share some key insights to help you better understand the true value of the opportunity you are part of, the foundation of Miracle Cash and More. Miracle Cash and More began its journey in 2017 with a clear vision to become a global fintech powerhouse, not just a traditional bank. Our starting point was the development of a core banking system, also known as a switch in the financial industry. This system consists of millions of lines of code. It took 3 years and over $5 million to develop. We built a mid-level core banking system from the ground up. Why is this significant? Because we own the technology. We are not leasing or dependent on third parties, which saves costs and provides flexibility. When you invest your time in a company, that company should deserve your time and effort by providing real sustainable value. What has the company invested to create an opportunity for you? Who is the actual customer? If it's just you, then it's not a real business. It's a cycle destined to fail. Most crypto MLMs have failed because they start with a compensation plan and then pick a product that fits. Their focus isn't on solving real-world problems, but on making quick money. That's not sustainable. Miracle Cash and More is not an MLM. It's a fintech company offering real services to merchants. Bellator is the marketing arm, designed to help expand Miracle's reach. This gives us the best of both worlds. A company with real products and services. A network marketing structure to help spread the word and reward those who grow the network.
Absolutely phenomenal. So now, ladies and gentlemen, you see that we have a real company that is not an MLM company, and that's Miracle Cash and More. And then, as he explained, we have Bellator, which is the marketing arm to expand and allow access globally to Miracle Cash and More, Miracle Cash and More's products. Okay. So, with that being said, I want to give you a clear snapshot on what Miracle Cash and More is. Number one, they're an 8-year-old rock solid company. Most companies don't last 1.5 to 2 years in this space. We've already quadrupled that. Okay, 100 plus employees, over 90 million invested into this platform, fully licensed and insured and highly regulated globally. And we have physical brick and mortar stores around the world already. As a matter of fact, this is a screenshot of our first location that opened in Amsterdam. The phone number and the address is right there. But what I want to bring your attention to is this brain image, right? You see it says banking core. That's the switch. That's why over 90 million has already been invested. And as you can see, everything is tethered to and operated by our entire ecosystem is tethered to the banking core or the switch that we created. And what you must understand is the only entity outside of Miracle Cash and More that has a banking core is the actual central banks. Yes, it's that huge. It's that monumental what Miracle Cash and More has done. So not only does it allow Miracle Cash and More to allow you and I to become our own banks and to assist in banking the unbanked globally, which is a huge task in itself, but it also allows businesses around the world to be able to accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment. And now you can acquire a node, a software that will literally validate these transactions, just as the gentleman explained in the very first clip I showed, and get paid whether the market goes up, down, to the left, or to the right. There's no chart reading. There's no trading. There's no risking funds. There's none of that. We're not acquiring cryptocurrency, speculating and praying that it goes up. This is why I'm telling you to pay close attention, keep your business hat on, and just leave your ego on the table just for another 30 minutes or so. And you're going to be blown away when you get the full revelation of what's being offered through this platform, okay? So we're a global company. We already have several, these are the pictures, actual pictures of the front of several of our other locations around the world. We have brick and mortar stores. Are you kidding me? And then these are some shots of the inside of them. And what these stores allow individuals to do is literally take their credit card, debit card, or cash, check, whatever, and purchase any type of cryptocurrency they want. They can also go into the locations, our brick and mortar locations, with any type of cryptocurrency and cash it out. Absolutely phenomenal. But as I said, there's a technology that's been created that's taken it to another level. So on this next clip, you're going to understand why we built our own switch, and you're going to understand our competitive edge. As a matter of fact, to be frank with you, we have no competition. It would take another entity 8 to 10 years just to get to where we started. So with that, we're going to look at this clip, and then we're going to get into some more details, and I'm going to break the numbers down for you. Pay close attention.
We built our own switch. No third-party licensing required. handles crypto transactions directly with customizable merchant admin panels. Offers higher APRs than traditional banks, making us the crypto bank for merchants. Secure and efficient transaction management. Continuous updates to benefit both customers and merchants. These companies represent over 100 million active accounts, and our technology is installed in all of these machines. This is a huge victory and a clear sign that we are leading the way in the industry. This is why it takes time to be the best. Building something of this magnitude isn't easy. It requires patience, dedication, and relentless hard work. But the results speak for themselves.
Another absolutely phenomenal clip. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we're getting into the meat of the matter, there were several things that were flashed very quickly on the screen. Well, one of them were the fact that, and it said, we've created history. We've actually acquired 4 of the contracts secured for the largest POS device companies in the world. Those 4 companies that we already have contracts with are Ingenico, Pax, Verifone, and NCR, as you see on your screen. So I want you to understand, we're not looking for salespeople tonight. That's not what this is about. We're not looking for people to invest $1,000 in a platform and you'll make 1% a day and it's going to compound and you'll be a millionaire in 90 days. Right? I hope you guys understand that does not work. Don't allow yourself and your friends to get burned anymore. It doesn't work. And if you ever do the math, there's not enough money on the planet to pay everybody once you compound money like that forever. It does not work. So we have a real company with a real software that has a real world application. It doesn't just apply to our ecosystem. This is the difference in what Miracle Cash More has and anything else on the planet. Okay? So these 100 million merchant devices, ladies and gentlemen, I don't like to talk about it. I like to get right into showing it to you, okay? So this is Ingenico's website. This is not our website. Write it down, take a screenshot, do whatever you have to do so you can do your due diligence. 120 plus countries. But Ingenico has over 40 million terminals deployed worldwide. As a matter of fact, we are already on their website slated as the go-to company, right, with Ingenico and their 40 million terminals to allow these companies to be able to accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment. Now, remember, what you're here to hear about is the fact that you can now acquire technology called the node, and all those transactions have to be validated. They must be validated. And that means you now have acquired a toll booth on the blockchain superhighway that's going to pay you for life. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to break that down a little more in a moment as well. But I have some proof in the pudding for you. Ingenico sent one of their new POS devices. And understand, a POS device is where you tap, swipe, or insert your card, or even tap your phone and pay for your goods and services, for your gas, dry cleaning, groceries, and then sometimes you have to put your PIN number in, right, at the point of sale. So it's called a POS device because it's a point of sale system. So they sent their newest POS system to the CEO of our company, and he recorded it. Pay close attention to where we're located within the POS device.
Hey everyone, take a look at this. We just got a few of these machines shipped to us. It's the new Ingenico machine. And then when we turned it on, look at that. Look at that. How amazing is that? We're literally preloaded, not in the App Store, but actually on the device itself. You hit that, there you go. Isn't that incredible? Wow.
Wow is right. Well, let's take it a step further. That's Ingenico. And I told you that we have 100 million. We have well over 100 million. But I want to show you some more proof in the pudding here very quickly. Remember, I told you we have NCR. This is NCR's website. Are any of these companies familiar with you? Have you shopped at maybe Home Depot any time in your life? Got gas from Shell and BP? Are you kidding me? You see, this is NCR's website. Well, let's take a look at PAX's website, right? You see, this is PAX's website, not ours. PAX, in and of themselves, have 110 million devices globally. Ladies and gentlemen, I just told you we already have them contracted. And then with Verifone, let's look at Verifone's website. I'm sure some of these companies are familiar to you as well. Probably had your Starbucks coffee this morning, right? But I want to bring your attention to this number. 8 trillion payment transactions processed each year. 8 trillion transactions processed each year by this one company. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're on the right side of finance finally, right? So let's continue to move forward because I want to show you all the meat of the matter. So with that being said,
Hey everyone, take a look at
now
this.
that you have a full understanding on what Miracle Cash and More has to offer, I want you to understand why this matters to you. So I'm going to tune into your most favorite radio station, and I already know what it is. It's WIFM. Derek, what's in it for me? All right. So this is probably one of the most important short clips. So I want you to pay close attention to this. Then I'm going to get into the numbers, okay, and really tune into WIFM for you. Let's go.
Many people don't have the experience to evaluate real opportunities. That's why we're committed to educating you while also sharing the potential of our company. We're not just another crypto project. We are a real company with real customers delivering real services. This document is for you, to help you recognize the difference between a fleeting opportunity and something that is truly deserving of your time and effort. We're proud to say we're just getting started. With our infrastructure in place, we're ready to scale globally. In the world of transactional finance, a switch, also known as a core banking system, is the central infrastructure that manages and routes financial transactions between different entities such as banks, payment processors, merchants, and card networks. When a customer swipes their card, taps their phone, or makes an online payment, the transaction request is generated and sent to the switch. The switch acts as the middleman. It receives the transaction data and routes it to the correct financial institution, e.g. the customer's bank, for authorization. Once the issuing bank processes the request, either approving or declining the transaction, the switch relays the response back to the point of sale, POS, terminal, or online platform almost instantly. After authorization, the switch helps settle the transaction, ensuring the funds are correctly transferred from the customer's bank to the merchant's account. The switch ensures transactions are secure, encrypted, and compliant with financial regulations like PCI DSS for card payments and KYC AML protocols for anti-fraud measures.
Absolutely phenomenal again. So understand, anytime you tap, swipe or insert your card or tap your phone, what's happening is a signal is immediately going to the core banking switch. It's then being relayed to your specific bank to verify that you have an account with that bank. And then do you have the $20 to pay for your Publix or your A&P or whatever grocery store you're at to make that payment for those groceries? If you do, it then sends a signal from the bank, takes the funds, sends it to the switch, and the switch relays it back to that POS system, regardless of what part of the world you're in. Well, while this is happening in a microsecond, right? This is why it costs so much to create a core switch. We don't have time to stand there and tap our fingers at the cash register waiting for a transaction to be approved. It happens in an instant, right? But what people don't understand is that there are fees being paid on the back end. And those fees are being paid by the business that you're at, not by you. Your bill is $20. That's exactly what you're going to pay. But now I fully understand why Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, all of these companies, card companies, are such financial behemoths because they're charging a nice percentage. And we'll get into that in a moment. And you're going to see the difference with ours as well. But I want you to understand the functionality of what's happening and the functionality, the same exact thing that is now able to happen with every business being able to accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment. So now, again, remember I said now that you have a full understanding on what Miracle Cash and More has accomplished, not doing, it's already in place. Now you can get clarity on what Bellator is, which is the marketing arm. As you can see, it has a phenomenal compensation program. It just launched December of last year, meaning we're 1 year old. So for those of you that may have experience in the home-based business arena, you know that you want to find the right company at the right time with the right leadership. And I'm telling you right now, the sun, moon, and stars have lined up to your favor because we have an 8-year-old rock solid behemoth that has the technology, that's the company, but then we have a marketing arm that's a big baby and they're together. The only way you can have access to this technology and this software is you have to come through Bellator. Bellator is the marketing extension that is giving people access to this phenomenal product on a global basis. Bellator is also obviously a ground floor opportunity, but I don't call it ground floor. I say it's in the basement. As a matter of fact, it's a step below that. It's down in the substrata level, right? And there's no attrition. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a major reason why, after 3 years of telling my sponsor no, literally, believe it or not, and I believe, God's timing is everything, not to even get, to that point, because some people use religion as a tool to move people. We keep it funky around here. Well, I mean, we keep it real. As I told you, this is a home for wounded warriors. We don't play any games. So when I say that, I'm saying it from my heart. This is literally let me get to my point. 3 years ago, my sponsor was sharing this opportunity with me. I told him no, because I'm doing my thing. I don't want to hear about anything new. Okay. Well, because we're friends, real friends, we would meet periodically. And then after 3 years, we were meeting up for lunch. And he said, Derek, I got to update you on what's going on with Miracle Cash and More. We now have a marketing arm called Bellator. And as he explained to me, I realized everything that he said they were going to do 3 years ago, everything he said that was coming was manifested plus more. And Bellator, being the marketing arm, had just launched a few months prior to him having a conversation with me. I said, you got to be kidding me. This is like an answer to a prayer, right? And then after getting a few head knocks here and there in that 3 year span as well, now I was ready. But the timing was perfect, and your timing is even better. So with that being said, when I saw they had no attrition, what that means is in this industry, ladies and gentlemen, there's something called like auto ship. So to give you an example, I was single several years ago, and I had this phenomenal, juice product that I tried. And as a matter of fact, it was because of what I'm going through right now. I had a cold, tried this product, and it like cleared it up. The energy it gave me, I lost a few pounds. It was phenomenal to me. But I'm single. I only need one bottle a month. But I'm sharing it with a few people, right? And they told me, well, if you want to continue to get paid, you got to order a whole case a month. And you have to put it on auto ship, meaning we're going to hit your account every month. I said, wait a minute, I only need one bottle, but you tell me I got to buy a whole case of this juice? Yeah, what you want to do is sell the other 3 bottles. So now I got to turn into a full-fledged salesman as well. Well, what do you think that happens when an average person's light bill is due and that auto ship is due? Which one you think is going to get handled first and which one is going to get cut if things are close? Right, that auto ship is done. So that would cause something called attrition, where people would drop out like flies, right? So the other part of attrition is when a big leader, for instance, can leave a company and go to another company. Well, that could cause a vacuum, and a lot of people can follow him. And I've seen, or that, he or her, and I've seen companies fold because of that. Literally, I've seen people's checks dwindle and the whole nine. So then when I realized that Bellator has flipped all these statistics, and this is the first time any company was able to do this, they flipped those statistics completely over, because there's another statistic that states over 90% of the people that participate in MLM fail because of things like auto ship, because of things like lack of proper training. Most people are spending more than they're earning because they're emotionally attached to a product that allows them to lose a few pounds, or maybe a great skincare product, right? Or a nice technology or what have you. They're emotionally involved. Right? But I tell people, if it don't make dollars, it ain't making no sense. So with that being said, when I saw that Bellator was positioning everybody to win, meaning they flipped that 90% failure rate over to 100% success rate, because 100% of the people, 100% of the time, listen to me closely, 100% of the people, 100% of the time that participate in Bellator and acquire a node, you are going to succeed, period, whether you talk to a soul or not. So whether you have 2 people on your team or 20,000, all 20,000 of them can leave. Hear what I'm telling you. And it won't affect your income by 1 red cent, because we don't get paid from people. We don't get paid by bringing people in something or somebody's auto ship. We get paid from the nodes. That's another revelation or aha moment that I have that I hope you're getting as well. So with that, also understand that you're making a purchase one time. So you're purchasing this product one time. There's no monthly maintenance fee for it. You don't have to turn your node on or off, right? You don't have any maintenance fees or anything like that at all. Literally, ladies and gentlemen, it was the no-brainer of the century for me. So let's get into the product right now. We're talking about our CPU nodes. That's the actual technology and the software. And again, just like the gentleman explained in the very first video, it validates transactions on the network. Remember I gave you that scenario when you tap, swipe, and insert your card? Well, now Miracle Pay has positioned every company to be able to receive cryptocurrency as a form of payment. So many people acquire cryptocurrency, don't even know what to do with it. They do not know what to do with it. Now you can go pay for your dry cleaning. Now you can get your gas. Are you kidding me? Now you can pay for your lunch bill. Now you can pay your rent or mortgage. Literally with cryptocurrency, because of what Miracle Cash and More has done. Now we're paid in our native token, which is called the Phoenic token, and it's literally the gas fee for the entire ecosystem. And so we don't hype up our token. We already know what it's going to do. It's the gas for the entire ecosystem. And plus our product is so big, we don't have to, give people some false hopes on the growth of our tokens, okay? You're paid daily. As a matter of fact, you're paid hourly or every minute or every second, because we're the people doing transactions, ladies and gentlemen. It never stops, 24/7, right? And the cost for our node is only $1,200 one time. You buy it once and you earn for life. So we have several people, right, that are doing other things. We love our people to say, hey, I just want to get a bunch of those nodes. The majority of the people are like that. And then we have people that say, I want to share with a few people as well and get paid. We love it either way. It doesn't matter. We have people that are in other companies that are even sharing with their people, hey, my responsibility as a leader is to show you how to make income. So you want to grab a few of these nodes from Bellator because you're just going to pay for it once, but you're going to earn forever. Are you kidding me? The opportunity of a lifetime. So now let's break the numbers down. So there's an 80-20 split, okay? 80-20 split from the purchase of a CPU node. I want you to remember that, all right? So let's get into the numbers. And I want to jump right to the main slide on that, so we're not wasting any time tonight, because I told you I have a quick start training for you tonight as well. So we already established that we have well over 100 million merchants. Here's the cool thing. Within that 100 million merchants that I've already established, we have more than that. I'm not even including the fact that we have the fifth largest airport in the world already signed, already contracted. I'm not going to include in that number that we already have Shopify already contracted. That's right. We got online covered as well. I'm also not going to include in that equation the fact that we're already contracted with the largest airport in the world that's being built in Bucharest, with a smart city being built around it, and we are the exclusive, we are the exclusive gateway for payments to be made, and any cryptocurrency payments can be used all throughout the smart city and the airport as well. We're not even going to include that in the equation, all right? So these 100 million merchants, we're just going to use the 4 contracts we have that I just shared with you. Over 100 million. So let's assume in this assumption where I'm going to break it down to the ridiculous. So when you get your node and you start getting paid, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. So this is Derek Brown 101. Like 10% of the 100 million merchants offering cryptocurrency, that will never happen. But I want to give you an example based on that. So let's just say 10% of the 100 million merchants offer cryptocurrency as a form of payment. That's 10 million merchants. This is going to be simple math. Roll with me. So let's say that there are 2 crypto transactions a day on average, and they average $100 each, right? 2 crypto transactions that average $100 each with those 10 million merchants. That's 2 billion in merchant sales that day. 2 billion in merchant sales that day. Guys, it doesn't matter whether the market's going up or down. We're talking about transactions. I want you to remember that. We're not talking about whether the market, what percentage. No, we're talking about people doing what you don't have to train anybody to go get their groceries. You don't have to train anybody to put gas in their car. Are you kidding me? I want you to remember, keep that business hat on. 2 billion in merchant sales that day with this ridiculously low example that I'm giving. Miracle Pay's transaction fee is 2%, not 3-4% plus a 10-cent fee for each transaction like a lot of these companies do. No, it's just a flat 2%. So that means they made 40 million in revenue that day in this ridiculously low example. Let's break that number down to see what you and I would be eating off from that 40 million that day. Are you with me? Remember, 30% is paid out to you and I being node owners. That's 12 million, right? That day. 80% goes to node holders, 20% goes to your downline if you're building, to the entire downline, right? So there are only 210,000 CPU nodes available. Every single node is paid evenly. Remember, the funds go up in the cloud and it's distributed evenly amongst all node holders, as the gentleman explained, for the transactions for that day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been in for several months before you. You get started tonight, acquire a node. Your node is going to earn the exact same amount that mine does. That's going to hit some of y'all by 1 in the morning. Don't worry about it, right? So that's $45.71 a day. That's $16,685 a year for a software that you purchase one time. But let me share this with you. It gets even gooder. That's right, I did say gooder. I know exactly what I said. And I should have had this website pulled up, and it's going to take me 2 seconds. This is the Bellator website, ladies and gentlemen. This is the site that you receive for free, as you should be. If I was you, I'm not you, but if I was, I'd be texting the person right now, telling them to send me their link. And there's a reason for that, and you're going to learn about that in training, all right? So I want you to pay attention to this. You see this right here? Where you're buying a CPU node. This is what we've been talking about. It's $1,200. But there's a special going on that ends in about, I think, a little over, kind of close to, I know it's at least 24 hours, right? Prayerfully, it could be extended. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I'm letting you know now. You got about maybe 24 to 30 some hours left. But they're giving you 2 nodes for free. This is the point I want to make. You acquire a node, you're purchasing one, they give you 2 more free. In that ridiculously low example I just gave you, ladies and gentlemen, I showed you how you can earn $16,685 from one node. So let's take 16,685 multiplied by 3. That's over 50 grand. For you having the gumption to understand in business, timing is everything, and acquiring your node tonight. Are you kidding me? Now, remember, there's always some type of, thing going on, but I'm just not making any promises because some people may see this a day or two later and don't not move forward because we don't know what can happen, okay? So with that being said, now if you pay close attention here, you'll see that you could buy 3 nodes. Well, if one node is 1,200, that means 3 of them is 3,600, right? But they're giving you 6 nodes for free. Are you kidding me? Let's do some simple math. 16,685 times 9. Guys, you're now in the 6-figure club, and you didn't even leave home. And remember, the numbers I gave you were ridiculously low. I'm just going to throw that out there. What if you had the gumption to acquire 7 nodes? Well, that'd be $8,400. Well, if you did so, they're going to throw in 14 more, as you see right here on your screen. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a total of 21 nodes. 16,685 times 21. Guys, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I know this can allow some of you to change your zip codes. I know this can allow some of you to stop working because you really wanted to start a Montessori school, or you really wanted to have a hair salon, but you couldn't because you got to keep working just to keep your overhead covered. This will allow a lot of you to get free. And you didn't talk to one soul. This is on you simply having the common sense enough to understand in business, timing is everything, and acquire some nodes, right? But I want to take it a step further. We're not done, right? And there's more. So now I want to share with you a short clip because we have a birthday special going on. And if you were peeking, you may have seen it on the screen there. But remember, I told you we're a year old this year. This is why the CEO, along with the rest of the corporate staff and some other highly distinguished individuals, were in New York City. This is why I was there just a few days ago to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. And in doing so, they created a special package that I want you to see in this clip. And I also want you to pay attention to the quality of this video as well. Here we go.
Troy.
Barbara? Barbara, are you there? Is it safe in here?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Because this is the Bellator 1-year birthday anniversary box. And everything is going to be just fine. Better than fine. Daddy's going out to talk to the neighbors because word is spreading fast. Italy. Guardian. Phoenic. Something about a convertible. What is in this box? Let's go over this again. Slowly. The Bellator 1-year birthday anniversary box includes 1 Miracle Pay CPU node, one half Italy convertible CPU node, one Guardian node, one Phoenic code node. Total retail value, $11,100. Birthday celebration price, only $5,000. Yes, you read that right. Yes, everything's fine. Yes, commissions are exactly the same as the code node commissions. And yes, this package makes you fully active. Carl said it might have been an explosion. We think it was just the sound of the biggest deal of the year dropping. But don't wait. The roach cops, the robots, are moving fast. And this box won't last.
Absolutely phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you. Those of us who are already a part of Bellator, before this birthday package came out, which is right here, the birthday anniversary box, shall I say, as you can see here, you're buying one node, but you're getting 3 of the other ones we have for free. You're getting a half of what's called a Italy convertible node. In that Italy convertible node, you literally have an opportunity. It is the only avenue to be able to acquire shares of the company. There's no other way you can acquire shares. You can choose to convert the majority of those nodes that you get in this half Italy convertible node to shares, and you have up until October of 2026 to even make that decision, because several of you may say, hey, I'm making enough from the nodes. But if you're anything like me, I'm going to get those shares immediately, because now you're receiving from the entire ecosystem. And it's the only way you can acquire shares. In addition to that, you're getting a Guardian node. You're getting a Phoenic code node, and you're getting one of the CPU nodes for $5,000. Those of us that have all those nodes already, we paid $11,100. Let me show you just the Phoenic code node by itself that is included in this. You see it right here. One Phoenic code node is $5,000 right now. But you're getting this entire package for $5,000 right now. And there's a limited time as well. There's about close to 48, less than 48, I'm pretty sure, a little more than 24. But remember, whenever you're seeing this, that doesn't mean don't stop, because there's always going to be nodes available. Remember that, okay? There may be another special as well. But with that being said, they're also including, you see on the screen, 200 of our Mirex tokens with that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this much. These are not even on the market yet. We have our own blockchain. They'll be on the market very soon, like the first of this year, not the first quarter, within the first 30 days of the new year. And they're starting, I'm going to tell you this much, I think we had an opportunity to even get them as low as 35 cents, but when they start on open market, they're starting off at $1. Are you kidding me? And they're giving you 200 of them along with the 4 packages that you're getting for purchasing one. Absolutely mind-blowing. So let's move on. Let me minimize this. There we go. Still a little low tech, but I'm high tech. I need to be high tech as well, as my associates say. So let's get ready to wrap this up, because I want to get into this quick start training. But before we do that, there's 3 simple things you need to do to get started. Number 1, you need to enroll. Like I said, if I was you, I'm not you, but if I was, I'd be texting the person right now that introduced me to this opportunity, getting their link, and actually locking in. You're going to understand why in training, right? Trust me. So you want to get enrolled. Get the link and get enrolled. Once you get your link, simply go in your own back office and purchase 1 node. By doing so, you're going to get 2 more free. Are you kidding me? And then the next thing you want to do is you want to share this opportunity with at least 3 people and allow them to enroll and acquire a node, and you're going to earn $225 minimum for each node that you personally introduce the individual to this opportunity. We have some people that pay for their node because they get a few people on the next opportunity call that we're having tomorrow, by the way, and literally they cover their cost for their node. And remember, there are no ongoing fees, there are no maintenance fees, there are no gotchas whatsoever. So with that being said, remember, Miracle Pay, 8-year-old rock solid company, 100 plus employees, over 90 million invested, fully licensed and insured, highly regulated with physical stores. Then we have Bellator, which is our marketing arm. Rich compensation plan just launched December of last year. Ground floor opportunity with no attrition, right? So now what I want to do in closing of the presentation is I have to introduce you to our chairman of our board. Before I do that, I want to let you see that you can also find out about our CEO by going to his website, hakantoran.com. Just as you see on the screen, hakantoran.com. And this is him right here. He's a real person. He was just in New York with the rest of the corporate staff as well. Phenomenal individual. This is who came up with the entire ecosystem. Just a genius, literally. You can find out more about the ecosystem on his website as well. But now I want to show you our actual corporate website, metaterra.com. This is what our entire ecosystem is under the umbrella of Metaterra. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'll tell you that this opportunity, everything you need to know is in this one location, but I want to introduce you to our leadership team. So obviously we have our CEO, Mr. Hakan Toran, and I'm not going to read all this. I want you to make sure that you write the website down and you can go through all the details. But here you see a little bit more about our CEO. You can see the head of our legal team, finance team, head of EU and Miracle Pay. But what I want to draw your attention to is our board of directors. Ladies and gentlemen, understand, had this happened 2 years ago, I need you to get this. Had this been 2 years ago, we wouldn't have who we have on our board because these are Wall Street gurus. 2 years ago, even the government was dogging out cryptocurrency. Now they're the largest holder of cryptocurrency. And the president has stated publicly that he's going to make sure that the U.S. is the cryptocurrency capital of the world. So our chairman of our board, Mr. Douglas Anderson, is a Wall Street veteran. He actually owns a company called Wall Street Capital Partners, but he's a Wall Street veteran with 25 million underwriting authority and hundreds of millions raised in private equity. But he's brought along the super friends, literally. We have Mr. Stephen Moore, globally recognized economist. Matter of fact, he's an economic advisor to political campaigns. And the last political campaign that he advised is the current one. As a matter of fact, our president offered him the opportunity to be the chairman of the Federal Reserve. He turned him down. He said he wanted to stay in the private sector. So he turned down the president of the United States to be the chairman of the Federal Reserve, but said yes to being on the board of Metaterra. Are you kidding me? You still got your ego to the side, right? And you got your business hat on. Stephen Moore is on our board of directors. Fernando Villasola. This gentleman's family owns the Kenworth Trucking Company. They made billions from that. If you think about it, when you see Kenworth trucks, this is the family that owns those. He's a senator in Mexico. He has dual citizenship here and in Mexico. He's the president of leading Mexican custom firms and an expert in cross-border and blockchain applications. We have John Baer. John Baer has 30 years of global experience with 500 plus million raised in contracts in 41 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, John Baer is the reason why Google is functional. John Baer is the reason why we have these cell phones, not Stephen Jobs. Stephen Jobs was just a phenomenal marketer. Everybody thinks Steve Jobs invented a cell phone. No. Do your research, John Baer. He's on our board. We have Stephen Norris. Ladies and gentlemen, strategic advisor with extensive experience in corporate governance and business development. When you read his background, ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe it. You won't believe the companies that he's a part of. And I believe, I said it earlier, and I didn't have a chance to verify it. I believe BlackRock may be one of them. I'm about 90% sure. Ladies and gentlemen, we have literally a company in our sphere that has attracted the attention of Wall Street to the point where they have locked arms with our company. Let me introduce you now to Mr. Douglas Anderson as he's speaking on the New York Stock Exchange floor live on a broadcast called New to the Street that comes on the Financial Network channel on your cable network, right? It's between ESPN and CNN, and it's that channel that always has the financial ticker tape rolling at the bottom. Well, there's a show called New to the Street that comes on that particular channel. And this is our CEO, I'm sorry, our chairman of our board, speaking about Mediterra on the New York Stock Exchange floor. Ladies and gentlemen, turn your speakers up. I want to introduce to you Mr. Douglas Anderson.
And a warm welcome today to the Wall Street Capital segment of New to the Street. I'm Janet Alvarez, your host here from the iconic New York Stock Exchange. We're joined today by very special guest, Doug Anderson, CEO of Wall Street Capital Management. Doug, how are you today?
Great to be here. Thank you.
Doug, there's so much history here at the New York Stock Exchange, and I feel like people like yourself are rooted in the traditional exchanges, in the traditional world of finance. How did you decide to make the leap to crypto?
So it wasn't hard. I mean, we are looking at the numbers, and as recent as like 7 years ago, I think we're looking at 3 billion transactions in that space. Today, we're looking upwards of 70 billion. Wow. So the growth is phenomenal, and it's something that can't be ignored. And people on this floor here are not ignoring it. They're looking at it very closely. And so we're following it, and we're looking for special companies that are cutting edge, that have something that we think is going to be catch fire, let's say, and grow exponentially. And when something grows exponentially, of course, investors can profit from that multiple.
Absolutely. So for our audience that isn't yet familiar with Miracle, tell us about a Miracle. What is it? Where is it founded?
So the holding company for Miracle is Mediterra, and Miracle is one of their software assets. Mediterra is a company that we're working with, and we're interested in listing that on the stock exchange. It'll be a holding company for various software assets that they've developed. The first one being Miracle Pay. So you've noticed when you go to a store or a restaurant or what have you, these PAX or Ingenico machines, they're handheld by the server or at the point of purchase, and you wave your card over it or your Apple Pay, and the system reads it and the transaction happens instantly. What's different in this case is it enables a crypto wallet to do the same thing, and it's been approved by those companies, Ingenico and Pax, and those two companies represent the largest number of machines out there. So that's maybe 40 million machines across Europe, for example. And so that is a big deal to us. And when we saw that, we realized, hey, we better jump on this thing right away and do what we can to catch the train and not be standing at the station.
Absolutely phenomenal. Well, I'll submit to you, you want to make sure you catch the train and don't get caught standing at the station. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the person that introduced you to this opportunity and invited you to this call, I'm going to say it for them. They're running like a Amtrak train with no gears and no brakes, right? We ain't taking no prisoners, and we're shooting the wounded, all right? So with that, there are 3 types of people on this call right now. The number 3 person says, Derek, it sounds great, but it's not for me. Well, listen, I'm going to say it for the person that invited you. Right now, we're not looking for everybody. We're looking for people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. People who understand in business, timing is everything. And people who have eyes to see and ears to hear that this isn't one of those things. This is a true opportunity with true products that operate in the real world, not just in some ecosystem. All right. But if you're a number three person, I want to personally thank you for taking time out tonight out of your busy schedule to listen to this presentation. But what I want you to do, I want you to thank whoever invited you because they thought enough of you to share an opportunity with you that could change your life, right? At the very least, let them know who you may know that would be interested in this opportunity. Make sure you do that, okay? Number two person has questions. Number two person, what you need to do is stick around for this quick start training I'm about to do. Because who this presentation was for is the number one individual who said, Mr. Brown, you could have shut up 30 minutes ago when you said I could acquire a digital vending machine that I never have to service, pay for it one time, get paid for life, and I could will it to my children, right? I could sell it as the value is increasing, which it is on a daily basis. I'm in. Well, to that number one person, I want to be the first to congratulate you in taking the first steps in securing your financial future. All right. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to stick tight, hold tight. I'm going to switch gears right now. Okay. Now, don't allow that not for you. Don't allow that to guys. I've been fighting this cold. I'm telling you the whole time. I'm actually glad I'm doing the training now because in training, it's a little different mindset. But don't allow that to not allow you to get the link right now and get position, is what I was trying to say, okay? Brain is a little foggy, but we're here. Thank you so much for hanging out. So, as I said, we're going to switch gears now. That was who we are, and what we do. What you just saw is who we are and what we do. Here's where people fail in this industry in general because they don't understand how we do what we do is just as important as who we are and what we do. Do I need to say that again? I think you got it. How we do what we do is just as important as who we are and what we do. And it has a big determination on you. See, now, let me clarify this because this is the first time in 30 plus years I'm saying this. I'm going to keep, when I do training, I keep it right off the cuff. And I may be a little raw because your financial future is at stake. I don't play with people's lives. If anything, I feel this is almost my ministry and it's my responsibility. If you're serious, if you want to put your church shoes on, and just get a few nodes and make money, I'm rocking with you. But if you want to lace your Nikes up and run and build a legacy where your children's children are going to have your picture up over their fireplace, then I'm rocking with you. And that's what I'm here for. All right. So, what I've never said before is with Bellator, you could actually forego everything I'm about to say. I've never said that in my life. You could just get nodes and say, man, forget all that extra. You can call it extra if you want. I'm just going to get a bunch of nodes. Now, me personally, if I was a friend, family member, or associate of yours, I would be ticked off at you if I saw all of a sudden your lifestyle change and you didn't at least let me know that I could have, at the very least, done the same thing that you did. You could have at least let me know that I could have did the same thing you did, just got some no's and kicked back. See, ladies and gentlemen, we have our quote, we call them investors who say, I don't want to do all that home base. I don't want to do all that network marketing stuff. We love them because they have other investor friends. And I'm pulling the cover off of it, so to speak. The fact is they're doing it, but they're doing it from a sense of, I'm not doing no formalities. I'm not worried about no techniques. I'm just telling my investor buddies that got money, or even the broke ones, anybody come up with $1,200 to get a node. Are you kidding me? So I want to make that real clear. You don't have to do any of this. But again, if you're anything like me, and if you're anything like the person that just shared the opportunity for you to get on this call with you, then you may want to learn a little bit so you can maybe take it to the next level. Because I'm telling you, I know for a fact there's no other space. You could talk about real estate. I know real estate agents who got their butt ate out depending on what happens with the economy. I know I don't personally want to own a brick and mortar business because now, see, I'm used to like getting up in the morning. Tomorrow morning, I could after this training, I could say, you know what, babe, you want to go to New York to have breakfast tomorrow? Back to New York, because she fell in love with New York, y'all. Now I'm probably going to have to get a place in New York. I was born and raised there, messed around, took her there. And now she wants to live in New York too. But I could actually say, you want to go back to that restaurant in New York tomorrow morning? But if I had a brick and mortar business, and I'm not knocking anybody that does, and this is training now. If you got to go, if you got what you need, we'll see you later. Congratulations, get you some notes. But now, or if my buddies wanted to go, like the guys I associate with, they may say, "Hey, Derek, okay, it's Thursday night. Saturday morning, we're gonna go kick it in the Bahamas just for the weekend." But I gotta say, I gotta open up the shop, man. Well, guess what? I don't own the business. The business actually owns me because I don't have my time freedom. You have to understand, guys, that is a precious thing to have, to be able to make whatever you're making and more, but have full and complete time freedom. Guys, there's nothing like it on this planet. Nothing like it on this planet. So, with that, I'll tell you something else real quick. So I wanted to make that statement. You could actually just, forego all of that. But let me pull some stuff up very quickly here. So one of the leaders texted me while the last video was playing. They said, "Derek, I can tell you're fighting, through, and I could tell on the last few that you've done since you've been back from New York, you're fighting through." I said, "Yeah, I am." And they said, "You need to get some rest." I said, "You don't understand. We made a commitment. I was the one that said we're going to push through these holidays, and this will be the last holiday that you ever have to do that." Things usually the whole world slows down this time of year, right? We're not doing that. We speed up. The way to get wealthy is to do the opposite. You look at the people that have been giving you guidance, that have been giving you instructions. The key is, do you want their lifestyle? And I'm not being judgmental, but I used to look at my teachers when I was a kid. And I used to say, I know where you live. I know what kind of car you drive. And you could call it being judgmental, but I knew there was more. Even my loved ones, I cherish and love my uncles and aunts, and listen to every word they said until I got about 16. Started looking like, I think Unc don't know what the heck. No, I'm just kidding. But there was a different level that I desired, and then after acquiring those things, you get to a level where it's not about things, but it's about being able to answer anything that comes your way. Family member calls with a 911, you can assist. Not to the point where I tell my family, look, I didn't bust my tail to get financially free to give it to you. And your families are the first ones to tell you no about something. Am I kidding? Somebody put some sevens in the chat if you know about that. They're the first ones to tell you no, don't want to support when you're starting something. But as soon as you get to I knew you could do it, cuz they're the first ones to start begging when you do it, right? So with that being said, you have to have your mindset. You have to have the proper mindset to do this. Before you get to techniques and all this stuff, if your mindset is not in a proper perspective, it's almost like somebody serving you your favorite steak, but it's on a garbage can lid. Are you kidding me? So, with that, again, to finish that first statement, I said we got to blaze through these holidays. You don't just lackadaisical sit around the house, sit around your family's house throughout the holidays, eating up all the food, and then January 1, I'm going to start my goal. No. When we hit January 1, if you're coachable and teachable, you're going to blast through January 1st, and you're going to be halfway to blowing your goals out the water. It's a different mindset you have to have when you have your own business. All right. So, like I said, this is a quick start training, and there's some basics I'm going to cover. And there's some other things I'm going to do, in other trainings because there's a lot to cover. And one of the things I'm going to show y'all tonight is how to properly structure. So for those of you who are hanging in there, you're going to learn how to properly structure. I've heard so many horror stories of people. I'm going to do a comp plan training on my next training, and I should include the structure with that. But getting your structure right is so imperative. I have to touch on it tonight because there are people who are signing up, and some of y'all are getting 4 or 5 people going immediately, but your upline isn't explaining to you, slowing down. And that's the difference between a sponsor and somebody to just get somebody in something. A sponsor takes time to give you everything you need to do right in your first 48 hours. There's no way you should sign up in something. You sign up 5, 6 people and they all in one leg. I'm going to break that down tonight. All right. So the first thing, as I said, is your mindset. As I told you, we're going to roll through this holiday, and this will be the last time you ever have to do that. Do you notice the company just had an event in New York last week? We got a ridiculously important call Saturday morning. They're not saying we're taking a break for the holidays. Are you kidding me? So we're rolling right along with the energy they're doing. First thing you got to do is you got to develop a recruiter's mindset and a builder's mentality. I'm talking to folks who want to make some money. A recruiter's mindset and a builder's mentality. You got to realize recruiting is an all-time activity. And what I mean by that is there's times when you'll be pumping your gas and there's somebody over at the next pump. And your spirit is telling you to say something to them about Bellator. And you don't do it. And that's normal the first few times. But you have to get to the point where you start moving as soon as now, you don't want to become that person who's at the family gathering and everybody's like, oh, Lord, we know Derek is going to be recruiting. No. You'll get to a point where people start coming to you, asking you what you do. But you got to work to that point. There's a certain energy you'll expound, right? And y'all see, I wear T-shirts and sweatshirts half the time. People stop me all throughout the day. Excuse me, sir, what do you do? It used to be because I was in my Lambo, too. That had a little something to do. but so recruiting is an all-time activity. You're standing in a grocery store line, and your spirit is telling you to say something to the person behind you. The problem is a lot of y'all start just blasting them with Bellator, and that's not what you do. I touched on it earlier in our little, we had an impromptu info session. But anyway, so then always remember, we build people first. This is the whole point of this. You build people first, then we build a huge cooperative network, which will build unavoidable residual income. See, and this is the thing about this, guys. To me, a monkey can do this business. Just like I'm reading off slides right now. It's the same thing over and over. As a matter of fact, if you want to get filthy rich in this industry, you have to learn how to listen close to, because I'm doing a lot of ad-libs. There's a lot coming out that ain't on the page, right? You're going to have to learn how to master the mundane. Derek, what do you mean? For instance, if you notice, my presentation is going to be the exact same all the time because everything you do needs to be duplicatable so somebody watching can say, I could do that. That's the whole purpose. I'm not trying to, switch up my presentation to see if I can hit y'all with something this and that. No, the presentation is designed already to make your prospect go, yep, yep, yep. And then at the end, yes, I'm in. And everything has to be simple and duplicatable so you can do it as well. Are y'all with me? So what I was saying was, if you want to become wealthy, you have to learn how to master the mundane. I want y'all, when I'm talking off the script, pay attention to me. Mastering the mundane means, I know Derek is going to tell that same old joke, but guess what? You laugh right along with it, especially if you're with your prospect, right? Because here's another technique that a lot of people, because people we're lazy nowadays. If I'm in Atlanta, right, and Mr. Meadows is doing a presentation, and I got somebody I want to see it, do you know I'll schedule an appointment, go to their house with my laptop and sit there and watch it with them? Now, what did I just do? Number one, I guarantee, that sounds far-fetched, right? But that's how you don't get no-shows. Like the other way I didn't get no-shows was I would go pick up my guests. The only way they could not show up to the meeting is they'd have to jump out a moving car. So these are all, these aren't even next level things. They're things you have to do outside of the box. If somebody in your city you want to see this, and they're a friend of yours, don't just tell them to get on a webinar. How about you go to their house and open up your laptop and watch it with them? So when I tell the same old corny joke, you know it's coming, but you laugh like it's the first time you heard it. That's called playing team, right? So master the mundane means you just get used to hearing the same thing over and over. You have to master that, right? And you'll become wealthy. It becomes mundane, but it's the same thing over and over. Stay off the emotional roller coaster mental ride. I'm gonna touch on all these. Don't get discouraged by dream stealers and negative people. The unfortunate thing about that is a lot of y'all are laying next to that dream stealer at night. I get it. I've lived it. We're going to work through it. Trust me. Remember, you can learn how to do anything if you set your mind to it, if you really want to achieve your goals and dreams, right? So what you got to understand is there are 4 stages of learning. There's unconscious incompetence, meaning you don't know what you don't know. You don't have a clue. Remember the first time your dad or whoever taught you how to drive a stick? You didn't have a clue. You jumped in there and, you probably pulled it back in 3rd gear and tried to take off and the car just cut off. You didn't know anything. Right now, that's where most of you are in your learning stage. You think you know some stuff, but you're actually unconsciously incompetent. You don't know what you don't know. But after a while, you start listening. You start plugging into these trainings. You start plugging into these calls. And then one day you say, wow, I really don't know any of this stuff. I thought I did. Now you become consciously incompetent, meaning you know now what you don't know. You're acknowledging the fact that you don't know. And that's actually the first stage of you learning, because now you're open. So when your parent or your dad start explaining, okay, son, you're going to push your foot down on the clutch, and then you put it in 1st gear, right? And you're learning, you're paying attention. So now you're consciously incompetent, but then you start practicing it, right? You become consciously competent. You now know what you know. So you remember that first time you put it in 1st gear and you took off, and then you grinded that gear, but you got it in 2nd gear. And you got it in 3rd and you're driving. You know what I'm saying? That first time you stopped at a red light or a stop sign and you were on a hill, you were petrified to come off that clutch because you knew it was going to roll back or something. But now you know what you know because you're doing. Now you're talking to more people. Now instead of you just listening to presentations, you start doing them. You ain't even worried about messing up. And after a while of doing so, now you become unconsciously competent, meaning you could now, I see ladies driving on the highway on the way to work and she's steering with her left knee. She's, switching gears with her right knee, and she's putting her makeup on at the same time while she's driving down the highway. She doesn't even have to think about it anymore. It's to the point when you've done it so many times, you're unconsciously competent. You could just do it remotely. Now, when somebody asks you a question, it just comes out and it flows out because you've taken the time to understand that you were once unconsciously incompetent and you became consciously incompetent and you went through the stages of learning, right? Then you want to stay off the emotional roller coaster. I can already tell I'm not going to get through everything I wanted to, but we're going to both get through it. The emotional roller coaster is something you want to stay off. That's when you're all excited because you got, 15 people that said they were going to get on the webinar, right? And you're all hyped up. Oh man, I got Pastor say he's going to get on and some other folks, but then you start going through a little self-doubt because only 3 of them showed up, right? And this is just where distractions kick in. People saying no, negativity, competition, which we have none in this case. But this is where most people quit. 80% of people quit here because they don't have locked in goals. You're sponsored and go over set time frames of your goals to hit these ranks in our comp plan. There's no commitment. And then You might have excuse-itis. You ever met anybody that has an excuse for everything? Hey man, why, one of my mentors tells this story. Why couldn't you come to the meet? Oh man, I had to cut the grass. Are you kidding me? You could have paid some kid $5 to cut that grass. Some people just always have excuses, right? But then you find out that the majority of those people, for whatever reason couldn't get on, but they definitely told you to get on the next one. So now you're back excited. You know what I mean? Don't go through that emotional roller coaster, because only 20% of people are going to fight to become winners, to see their goals and dreams manifested in this thing. So don't ride the emotional roller coaster. What you want to do is have an even keel. If you notice with me, I have an even keel. I don't get too hyped up about nothing, and you will never see me down. Even though I'm dealing with a healing right now, you will not see me down. All right? Now, how do we make our dreams come true? We have to have 3 stories that you got to create. You got to have a product story, meaning you need to be a product of the product. You don't need to be talking about something that you don't own. To me, that's a lack of integrity. Even though the funny thing is, you can do it over here. You can actually sell nodes and not own one and get paid for selling them. But to me, it's a lack of integrity. How you going to talk to me about something you don't own? A whole nother story. Your first story needs to be your node, the fact that you own a node, or what you're earning from it, right? That's the second one, your income story, what you're earning from the comp plan, the node, and everything else. Then a lifestyle story, whether it's a dream vacation you took or something different that you did, put a down payment on a new home, right? That's a lifestyle story. So you have to have because all you have to do is tell your story, and most people are ready to roll. I don't ever want you to forget that, all right? Then you got to learn how. So I'm giving you headers, because each of these I could do a 2-day training on, right? But you can get what you need out of me breaking down each one a little bit to you. So then you got to learn how to drive your legs deep. It's called tap rooting. Some of you remember me telling a story about a gentleman named Roger Jarman. First person I sponsored in this company, right? Roger had some things going on, just like I did for 3 years. I was saying no, right? But Roger was the first person I signed up. But Roger was making some insane money in another project, right? So, he signed up out of respect and the whole nine. But understandably so, he kept his focus where he was. Well, what I did was what you're about to see on the screen. It's called tap rooting. So this is you, right? And in this case, this is me, and this could be Roger. So I want you to pay attention to this, but this is you. You sponsor Bob, right? Bob sponsors Sue. Sue sponsors Tim. Tim sponsors Jan. Jan sponsors Tom. Tom sponsors Pat. Well, in this scenario, Pat is the one getting it done. What tap rooting says is you need to make sure you plug in with Pat. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Okay, let me finish this example. So now, remember, you have 2 legs over here. That's why this is like this. Then you also have a unilevel, and I break that down when I do a comp plan training. But this is why I tell people, if you're listening to this in a presentation and it's interesting you, you need to sign up immediately. Reason being, here's the example right here. So now you also sponsor Eric. Eric's in your other leg, because you only have 2 legs in a binary, which is what we have. So now you see Eric sponsors Sue, Sue sponsors Tim, so on and so forth, all the way down to Pat. I don't know why the names are the same. I didn't realize I did that. So now, here's the deal. The person that told you about this only has 2 legs, right? They got a bunch of people ready to go. So you have an opportunity to be right here, because he's got all these people on the webinar. And you could have been right here. Your name is Pat, but you had to talk with your spouse. Well, all those other people signed up, and now you fell under. You're Pat, you fell under all these people. Whereas had you taken action, you would have been above all these people. And whether you know them or not, you would be getting paid commission from them. This is why time is of the essence. Hey, Mr. Jarman, is my sound and everything okay?
Yes.
Okay.
You know what? I'm not even on that.
Okay. Well, for Roger to call me, I thought he was telling me something was wrong. So, and then he said he wasn't even on. So, but in any event, with that being said, what you want to understand, this is why time is of the essence, but this is what I did. So, in this sense, and that was Roger, Roger was the first person I signed up. But what I did, I didn't get discouraged. I didn't keep bugging Roger. I dripped on him every now and then because I kept building under him. And I say, hey, Roger, you got 4 people under you. Oh, man, that's cool. Call him back a week later. Hey, Roger, you got 100 people under you. Oh, man, hey, Roger, a few weeks later, you got 500 people under you. And it's called burning from the bottom, meaning just because somebody in producing, you don't worry about that. Let them sit right there. You keep building under them. And eventually they're going to wake up. So, but what tap rooting specifically is you actually working with, so the fire may be with Jan. So over here, you sponsored Eric, who sponsored Sue, sponsored Tim, who sponsored Jan. And Eric, Sue, and Tim may not be doing nothing. That's fine. But you start working with Jan. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I tell people you'll never run out of people. This is why I've been able to do this for 30 plus years in peace, right? Because you never run out of people because you always taproot. So 3 stages to build an organization. First thing you have to do is you have to create a team. Anybody can do that. You can almost sling some stuff on the wall and create a team, right? But then the skill set comes in retaining your team. That's a skill set. And then the serious skill set comes in advancing your team. So it's one thing to create it, another skill set to retain it. If you don't know how to retain it, people are like, any gleaming thing they see. And that's why you'll notice your team leaves because you don't have the proper leadership at hand to retain them. Or you're not showing them how they could properly take advantage of that comp plan. Because if people are making money, they're not going nowhere. But then what skill set level do you have at your availability, even if it's not you, that you can point them to advance your team? Those are the 3 stages to building any organization. Now, I'm getting to some other meat, but what you got to understand is everything starts with you. See, too many people want to come in here, sign up, and they want to stay new forever. They don't want to learn nothing. They don't want to learn how to sign people up. And then there are 911 situations because you are going to get in a situation where you're going to have that big person is going to answer the phone. They're going to say, show me what you got. And now you're not equipped. They're going to say, I'm ready. And you can't even sign them up in the system, walk them through the Are you kidding me? So everything starts with you. You can't keep signing people up and then call them Mr. Meadows. That's called upline abuse. That's a whole nother training. Everything starts with you. You have to have a phase 1 attitude, and you have to always be personally enrolling new node owners, right? So I'm not going to go through this 3-way call system tonight. That's a whole nother training. But everything starts with you, and the way to start off right is understand what your commitment level is. Like your sponsor should even know what your time commitments are. All right, Mr. Brown, I got a job, so I'm working from 9 to 5. When I get home, I have to fix my family dinner, so I'm available from 8 to 11. Now, I know your window. We're going to grind through that window that you have that you're committed to. As long as you commit to it, you're on my calendar, I'm committed as well. But then you have to decide if you're in or out. Obviously, you have to enroll in the business. Then you have to set up your first launch event, right? And make a list, peak interest. These are all trainings that I'm going to do in detail. 3-way and invite, follow up and enroll. So what I want to do now is I want to jump to something else, and then I'm going to show you how to make sure you build, how to properly structure, okay? So in creating momentum, the reason why you want to create momentum is because of creating financial security. It's that simple, all right? So creating momentum is like a vehicle, right? You have different vehicles to get to where you want to go. You got an automobile, you got a plane, you got a train, you have a boat. It depends on what type of vehicle do you want to use. Well, you decided to use MLM. So in that case, we're going to say it's a car. Well, you need to understand the breakdown of that car and getting to your financial goals. I know y'all think this sounds elementary, but rock with me. So you got the engine. The engine to your car to create your momentum is the team. It's all of us working together. Well, that engine has a horsepower to it, right? Has a horsepower. Is it 300 horsepower? Is it 200? The horsepower is you, right? Can you push through being sick? Can you push through losing a family member? Can you push through your transmission falling out of your car and navigate through all that and stay focused on hitting your goal? Because all that is called life. That's going to happen. But how committed to you are hitting your goal? Are you going to lay up, man, I got a cold, I can't do this? What? No, you're the horsepower. And then the fuel that allows the horsepower to move, that gets the engine going, is the momentum. That's the fuel. Well, what does fuel have? Has an octane level. That's the energy and excitement that you have. You guys see how all this coincides? So that's why I said nobody, when you're talking to somebody, you don't want to be, hey, I was wondering if you want to take, no. You got to have something about, like if you're a low-key person, then you want to be a little extra energetic when you're sharing Bellator with somebody. Now, if you're always hyped up, do the opposite. Be a little more reserved and serious because the person's going to say, whoa, Pamela's not all hype. She sounds serious. You see what I'm saying? But that's how that works. So now, in creating momentum, the way you do that, there's some specific things. There's all these. Learn how to peak interest. We're not going to go through all that tonight because I want to get to the structure. In creating it, that's the easy part, but it's the most important part. So you have to create it right. The reason why you have to create it right, let me go back one, is because however you create your momentum is how your people are going to create theirs. A lot of you aren't seeing the success in anything you've ever done is because your people did whatever you did. Whatever you did to get them in the business. I want you to think, so there's some brutal honesty you have to deal with. What you did, was it duplicatable? What was it easier? Did you just get them in and just tell them, just stay plugged into the webinars and put your people on there? Whatever you did, first of all, you even have momentum, but whatever you did to create it, that is what's going to duplicate throughout your team. Once you create it, you have to sustain it. The way it's sustained is through trainings, rank advancements, stories, webinars, conference calls. Are you reading books, right? Are you so, like y'all saw we found out about this. Well, my mindset is I got to get it. I have an extensive library of books. Are you continually, just learning this sphere and this space of blockchain and cryptocurrency, right? Some of you know this is our newest board member, Miss Monica Profit, and that's her real last name, by the way, right? So now you're sustaining it through these small events. And see, everybody's doing the same thing. Then you're advancing it through events. This is what I love. Bellator knows their stuff. These momentum tours they're doing, they're coming back to Atlanta, California. I think they're going to New York as well, Florida. That's how you advance momentum. That's why you can't miss an event. That's part of you being plugged in. Your people need to see that you're going. Here's the funny thing about events. Guess what? As a so-called leader, if you're not going, you're not talking about it. And that's sad. You're not promoting it. See, even if you're not going, because the fact of the matter is, check this out. I actually didn't make the New Year's anniversary, 1 year event. I didn't make that. I got to New York the day after that. But you would have thought I was hosting it the way I was promoting it. And a large number of my team was there. I got there the day after because that was already planned. I already had my tickets and everything. But I was promoting it as if I was going to be there. You have to do that. And in spirit, I was. That everybody knows that for a fact. So then we're having the event and we're having the momentum events, but then we're having that main big event. It's in April. I'm already promoting. I already got my tickets for that. So you can't talk about something that you're not going to be about. But this is what advances. And then once you start advancing your momentum, guys, that's when you start getting to the income levels that you've been looking for. Some people just looking for a certain amount, that space. D Brown, if I could get to, man, I'm up out of here. I hate this job anyway. Well, there's certain steps you need to take. There's a reason why you're still saying that, and you've been in the industry for 10, 15 years. You got to focus and learn how to do the basics. So remember, the keys to our business is to expose people to the opportunity, expose people to our product, keep the exposure in a form where it's what? Duplicatable and simple. This is why I always say a monkey can do this business. Remember, your primary goal is to build cash flow and residual income. All right? Now, Brother Greg asked me a question earlier today. And this is the only reason why I'm going to go through this part. Then I'm going to do my last part. And for tonight, we'll wrap up. He asked a question that caused me to go into, because he said, well, what would you, if I want to get my participation in people, coming to the webinars, what would you say I would do? See, let me tell you a mistake people make. They start doing corporate stuff, like, you don't pass out no flyers or even blasting on social media. It has its place, but that's considered all that's cold market. It has its place. Like, there's a lot of ads out there that say your upline is lying to you. No, they're lying to you because they're trying to get your money. They want you to buy some lead program, which none of that crap works. Now, have I signed up people for social media? Yes, I have. Reason being is because I've already built a reputation where, to be honest with you, I could get on, like, I don't even really fool with, what are the other ones called? I forgot. Let me just say what I deal with. I'm old school. I deal with Facebook. Well, I could get on Facebook and say something, and I'd actually sign up several people. But it's because of what I've already, the time I've invested. The average person can't do that, right? But I'm not saying don't do it. What I'm saying is don't take away what we know works, which is a personal approach, because that's kind of slinging it out. Another thing that works is YouTube clips. Like, I got a buddy, and I'm going to say his name. I still call him Bishop, right? He's Coach Favors now, but I still call him Bishop Favors. He has a YouTube channel, and he gets attention from around the world, but he's consistent with it. Are you with me? He's consistent with it. So when people usually type in on YouTube Bellator Life, chances are you're going to get one of his videos. So, like I said, he's consistent with it, and he's professional. He knows how to follow up and all that stuff. If you could do that, by all means, you can do the social media thing, right? However, some of the things you want to learn how to do is you want to learn how to pique interest, edify, and present. Pique interest, edify, present. Remember I told you a monkey can do this business? Pique interest, edify, present. And always remember, some will, some won't. So what next? You have to have, let stuff roll off you like water off a duck's back. People get all emotionally caught up. She said, what? I hear no every day. I hear more no's than I hear yeses. But when you're consistent, those few yeses will change your zip code in this business. It doesn't take a lot. That's why consistency is the key to the breakthrough. Peak interest, edify, present. And here's the trip part. It ain't your job to present. Listen to this. Your role, you only have two roles to be played in this business. You're either inviting or presenting. If you're new, all you have to do is invite. We'll do the heavy lifting for you. Are you kidding me? All you got to master is how to invite. So when Brother Greg brought that question up, some people want, and I get it. A lot of people understand if you know how to speak from the heart, but even to speak from the heart, some people can mess up. This is why having a guideway, so you may want to take a screenshot of this, because Brother Greg, if you're still on here, this is verbatim what I said to you. I wasn't playing when I told you. I say one thing, and I said the same thing for like 30 years. And if you notice, it says learn the script, use it, and don't deviate from it. Now, you don't have to do this. This is something that's worked for me. And I do it with energy and the whole nine. And it says, as you see, and I stated earlier today, hours ago, right? Some of you were on that call. I call up somebody. There's some things before. The things before is to make sure you caught them in a good time. Somebody could be holding a baby with one arm, stirring a pot of rice with the other arm, and they got the phone like this. And here you are trying to talk to them about a business. No, the first thing you say, I don't care if it's your best buddy. Hey, Mike, did I catch you at a good time? You got a minute? And let them say, yeah, Derek. Or no, Derek, give me 5 minutes and hit me back. Cool, I'll hit you back in 5 minutes. No biggie. But if they say, yeah, you say, listen, Tammy, this is me doing the call. I'm calling you. Your name is Tammy right now. Ring, ring. You answer the phone. I say, hey, Tammy, this is Derek. Did I catch you at a good time? Yeah, Derek, what's going on? Listen, Tammy, I got a quick question for you. If I could show you a way to make some serious additional income without interfering with what you're doing right now, would you take a serious look at it? And you shut up. Let them answer. The next person to speak loses. Now, I went through that kind of quick because I have the ability to read something and make it sound like I'm not. Everybody doesn't have that ability. And now I've obviously done it so much, I know it off the top of my head, right? But you want to, don't make it sound like you're reading. Do you see how I said something different than what you're currently doing? You could switch up things here and there, but the key is, the reason why I said don't deviate is because there's some power statements in there. Let me break them down real quick. It says, if I could show you a way to make some serious additional income, right? The key phrase in there is additional income, some serious additional income. The next important thing is without interfering with what you're doing now or currently doing. Without interfering with what you're doing now, would you be open? I should actually put that in. Would you be open to taking a serious look? Because most people be open to doing just about anything for a friend, family member, or coworker, right? Would you be open to taking a serious look at it for me? And sometimes I'll say yes or no, because it's a yes or no question. But either way, if you say yes or no, or you don't say anything, just make sure you shut up. I don't care if you got to turn the mouthpiece up. Don't start in the silence. You say, yes, this thing called, but no, shut up. The next person that speaks loses. You see how uncomfortable that little silence was? I don't care how uncomfortable it gets. Let the lights ring. No, it gets quiet. You just hear, eh. The next person to speak loses because 99.9% of the time that person going to say, sure, for you, I could take a look at it. Are you with me? Or they may say, what is it? And you need to be able to make this statement. I'm gonna put this in writing on there, right? Because you know a few of you, because if it was me, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna try to don't let anybody force you into doing a presentation. It's okay for you to say, I don't know. All I know is you have to remember what I just showed you on the last slide. Peak, edify, and we're doing the presentation. So you just pique their interest with the statement. When they say, what is it? You edify the speaker. Guys, you see how all this stuff lines up? So if somebody tries to corner you, what is it? Or man, you tell me something about it. It's okay for you to say, listen, I don't know. All I know is Mr. Meadows, the guy doing the presentation, has already positioned himself to make a ton of money. He knows 100% of the facts that it takes to be successful in this particular endeavor, in this particular business. And he's real down to earth. He loves helping people and he likes having fun as well. But he's extremely busy. And all I know is we got an opportunity to get all the details from him tonight. So are you open to taking a serious look for me? Can you do that tonight at 8? Shut up. Yeah, Derek, I can do that for you. Are you kidding me? It's that simple, guys. And then these are a few little alternative scripts. I put those in there on GP. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever said any of these, but some of you may be cool with some of those. I say the exact same thing. I'm like an idiot savant. I hope that's politically correct, right? When it comes to this business, I do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. That's it. And then it's because it's simple and duplicatable, right? So always remember you're sorting people. You're not trying to recruit nobody when you talk to them. You're trying to go, no, 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 no. Yes, let's roll. See you at 8 o'clock tonight. After the 8 p.m. call, you introduce them to your upline, close them. So you're sorting through people. That's why no's don't mean nothing to you. because you're just sorting. Because here's the deal: when you have a red apple, what do? You bite into it because it's ripe. The red apples are people to say yes. Well, if you get a green apple, it may not be quite ready yet. It may need to sit and ripen some. Those are people who have questions. Guess what? The green apples are fine, right? Because you're going to have a lot of green apples. They just got questions that need to be answered, and you need to plug in with your upline. We got to get back to this foundational stuff. Those are the people you call me up with. Those are the people that you call Mr. Meadows with to answer their questions, right? After they've seen a presentation, not before. We don't do no presentation over the phone either. And then a rotten apple is somebody. Have you ever had somebody you look up to and you're trying to share an opportunity with them and they start trying to dog it out? Well, you got to hurry up and cut those conversations because, especially if you look up to them, they could seep in your subconscious. The next thing you know, they knocked you out the box. Same thing when you have a rotten apple, you bite into it and you see that brown in the middle. What do you do with it? Throw that sucker over your shoulder into the trash. I don't care who it is, right? Some will, some won't. So what next? Always sort, never sell. Don't ever try to sell. Don't sound like a salesman. This is another reason why I've been so consistent in this industry. I'm not selling nobody nothing. I'm just sorting through the no's, getting to the yeses, right? After getting a yes, check this out. The red apple, now you need to what? I was getting ahead of myself. You need to edify and direct to a Bellator website or a person who can deliver an impactful three-way conversation. I'm going to train on all that. Y'all going to have your gun loaded. So if they have questions, you can go with them. Okay, well, let's jump online. Take them to Mediterra.com. Are you kidding me? What more you got to ask after that? That's why I say people have stupid attacks. Oh, I got to check it out. Google it, YouTube, really? So we're not going to go through this tonight. I'm going to jump to something else. Oh my God, guys, I got some stuff I'm going to be sharing with y'all for sure. But let me get through this structuring because you got to know this. I want every person to pay attention to this. And I'm going to use my personal site for this too. So with that being said, you want to remember that we have a unilevel, and with that unilevel, what that means is that everybody you sponsors on your first level, everybody they sponsors on your third level. Are y'all with me? Everybody they sponsors on your fourth level, and so on and so forth. So you get paid, I think it's 15 levels deep like that. Guys, that's a lot of money. You need to study your comp plan. So I'm not going to show you the unilevel side because the mistake people are making is on the binary. In a binary, you have a left leg and a right leg, right? And so this is me. I should have used another account, really. This is me, right? And the first person I signed up, Mr. Jarman, fell on my left side. Y'all see this? Second person I signed up, Mr. Craig Brown, fell on my right side. So what this means is all the real estate that I'm going to build forever in Bellator is either going to fall under one of these two individuals, right? This is why when somebody invites you to a Bellator presentation, if it makes sense, you need to get their link and sign up immediately because you don't know if you're going to be, I call them like vice presidents. And then, see, Roger is the individual I was talking about who just didn't pay attention. And I just built, boom, straight down under him. And he's like, okay. And he came in, he's really only focused on one leg. You know, he put one person over in his left, but he's focused on his right leg because he needs to catch up with his left leg. I'm not going to show anybody's volume or not even going to show mine. But what I want you to understand is, let's say you're new tonight. You got 3 people on with you. Well, when you sign up, there's something called a holding tank, right? And that holding tank is going to hold them for 9 hours and give you an opportunity to place them at either the bottom of your left leg or the bottom of your right leg. Guys, never in your life, I want you to look at this. It's very simple to understand. Very simple to understand. This is you, right? All you have is a left leg and a right leg. But this is your outer left, and this is your inner left. Are y'all paying attention? This is my right leg. This is my outer right, and this is my inner right. Never in the history of me being in Bellator will I ever place anybody in my inside right or my inside left. Reason being is because Roger has a left and a right leg. Do you see these spaces? It's going to happen organically. So you never put anybody in the inside left or inside right. Everything you do is outside left and outside right. Well, Mr. Brown, how I do that? First of all, remember you have a holding tank. Like I just changed this over to the right because I told you I'm not going to show you my volume, but Roger and them are doing their thing. They didn't caught up and surpassed y'all on the right. Okay, we'll leave that at that. So now you can set this to where when you sign somebody up, you see it says auto placement next day at 12 noon. And I believe that's like yeah, there it is right there, GMT time. So what this means is if you don't place them, you sign me up, I'm going to be in a holding tank for 9 hours, I believe it is. It says 12 noon, but I believe it's 9 hours. It just happens. And what's going to happen is if I sign you up, you're automatically going to be put at the bottom of my right leg. If I know that's the leg I'm building, I'm fine. But when you're first starting, you want to make sure you're structuring your people. What you're also going to notice is when you are first starting, you may go in your back office and notice that there's already somebody here. Don't worry about that. That's called love from above. That means you got spillover from your upline. Are y'all with me? So you're getting ready to put your cousin in your left leg, but you looked and Roger's already there. Well, guess what? You just go to the next left under Roger and place them right there. Doesn't matter. Because even though you don't know Roger, it will spill over. You're still getting paid from his volume. His volume is counting towards your volume. And that's called love from above. You don't try to reach out to Roger. You don't know him, right? You leave that alone and you just build right past that person. So let me show you how to do this. So what you want to do is when you're new, there'll be nobody here. So what'll happen is, I got to show you an empty spot. So I click this arrow, it goes to the last person that was sponsored at the bottom of my left leg. And this is a lot of people. As a matter of fact, this happens to be a gentleman that I just introduced the day before yesterday, right? And then after that, see that's at the bottom of my left leg, I switch my setting over to the right because I need to balance my volume out for my business. You see what I'm saying? So what's going to happen is when you start, you're going to have two empty spots, right? So the person will be in a holding tank. Well, remember, outside left, outside right. Well, I just went to my bottom left leg. But then you're going to hit select member. You want them to go in this square, you hit select member, and it says no active members found. But had you just signed me up or I signed you up or whatever, the name would be right here. You click their name and then hit embed member, and they're going to drop in whatever box you selected. Are you with me? So now in this scenario, here's the mistake people make. Which arrow did I just click? I just clicked my left arrow. So it took me to my bottom left leg. So why the heck would I click this box? Because that's what? My inside left leg. This is the outside left. You're only structuring people outside left, outside right. So just to be sure, you always hit home to make sure that you're at the top. If I wanted to go to the right, I'm getting ready to sponsor somebody. I don't want the system to do it. I want to make sure I place them in the right. I'm going to hit the right arrow. This arrow, see, it says go to the latest member in the right, and it's automatically going to take you to the bottom right. What that just did, ladies and gentlemen, there's hundreds of people in between, right? This person, Miss Rains, and myself on my right leg. But in an instant, it took me to the bottom. So I know I clicked the right arrow. So I'm going to select the right box. That's how you keep your structure tight. And then you want to make sure when you're starting off, right? So let's say you're starting off, this is how your screen is going to look. You need to put one person to your left, one person to your right. Check this out, right? So your first person is going to go here, or it doesn't matter. Your first person can go here. Just make sure the next person you sign up goes on the opposite leg. Are you with me? Then the next person you sign up, you put them over here, outside right. Then the next person you sign up, outside left. So you're keeping a balance. Now, eventually, one leg is going to take off. When it does, that's called your power leg. You start working on the lesser leg. So I just wanted to show y'all that, okay? And if I need to go into more detail on that, I will. Prayerfully, you got it. But now, what am I going to do to get back to the top? You're always going to click this back arrow. You can hit that as well, but I always hit the home button. See, I hit the back arrow, brings me right back to the top. So always, you are only placing people in your outside left and outside right. The individuals that you have, they got an outside left and right, which is going to build your inside left and right. Never ever place anybody in your inside left and right. All right. Never build for somebody. If somebody doesn't have the ability to bring in at least two people, you build right past them. Right? Just keep building right past them. It's not going to affect your money one bit. Now, in closing, wow. Wow, a lot of you guys are hanging out. Absolutely phenomenal. Let me close this with this. A lot of people ask me, Mr. Brown, what does it actually take? Like, I understand some of the techniques, but what did you actually do to become successful in this arena? Well, I'm going to show you that right now. We're going to close. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you that right now. We're going to close because a lot of people don't tell the truth about what it takes to be successful in this industry. And there's several brutal facts. I mean, seven, I meant to say. Seven brutal facts. Number one, it's going to take time. The same way my eyes are red right now, yours are going to be as well. When I was working in corporate America, doing this business, there's no way in the world I give 8 hours to a company and wouldn't give at least 6 hours to my own business when I got off. Are you kidding me? Matter of fact, while I was at their company, this was obviously back in the day over 30 years ago, I'm printing off, I'm using their printer, I'm using their phone, talking to people. I'm just keeping it real. I'm using their stapler, putting, little bulletins together for my MLM business, but don't do that. Don't do that, right? But it's going to take time. That's a brutal fact. So you can't expect, some people want to make a living from 9 to 5. Well, let me give you this fact. You're going to make a living from 9 to 5. You're going to build your wealth from 7 to like 1 a.m. See, so many people say, well, Derek, I don't do calls after 10 p.m. Are you kidding me? You, you go, right? Now, I got a time on how early, like, don't hit me before 9 a.m. And the reason being is usually I'm up, and that's my meditation time. I do a little sunbathing, drink my tea, meditation. But I don't have a time on the back end. Now, if you don't know me like that, don't be calling me at 1 in the morning, talking about you want me to talk to your broke cousin. You're going to see another side of Derek Brown, right? But I work. Like, I have set appointments because I'm working with people on the West Coast. I'm doing calls sometimes at 3, 4 in the morning because it's only 12, 11 o'clock on the West Coast. Or another part of the world, it might be morning. You can't set a time limit to get wealthy. Well, Mr. Brown, I can, now I understand if you give me your parameters, but understand you got to understand it's going to take time. You're going to go to work with your eyes bloodshot red. You're going to be tired. It's going to take time. That's a brutal fact. It's going to cost some money. You're going to have to do some traveling. You're going to have to attend events. So many people want to get rich, but don't want to sow into their own business. There's a saying that says, if you empty your purse into your head, your purse will never be empty. Did you catch that? If you empty your purse into your head, attending events, acquiring knowledge and information, then your purse will never be empty. Unfortunately, too many of us are eating our seeds. You make sure you go to dinner. You make sure you kick it at the club every weekend. You make sure you got the freshest Nikes on, but you're not investing into yourself. Get some nodes, get some information, and don't miss an event. It's going to take money for you to make money. That's a brutal fact. And then it's going to take some change. The reason why a lot of you haven't gotten to where you need to be or want to be, even at first stage, is because you're still the same you were last year. It's going to take change. You're going to have to maybe not go to the bowling alley every Tuesday and Thursday. You're going to have to let the fellas know, hey guys, for the next 90 days, I won't be at the bowling alley on Thursday and Tuesday because I'm focused on my business. You're going to have to let it just going to take some change, right? The problem is are you in the right you to even be able to receive this information? It's going to take some paradigm shifts. Also, it's going to take some frustration. Everything is not going to be perfect. The people who you think will do the business won't. And the people you think won't do the business are going to be your major supporters. And then another frustration is the people that you start with are usually not going to be there with you when you cross the finish line. It's going to be frustrating. Your family's going to, I was the talk of the family when I got in this industry years ago. Now I'm the support of the family. My family members beg so much, when I walk up to them, their hands look like cups, right? So, it's going to take frustration, but you got to stay focused. Then it's going to take some desire and energy, guys. I used to have people tell me, Mr. Brown, I want to come to Atlanta and spend a day with you just to shadow you. I said, no, you don't. I'd break your heart if you did that because you can be like, Mr. Brown, don't do jack. No, just kidding. But you don't want to do that. See, when I wake up in the morning, I feel like, those big, thick theater curtains, like a Broadway play opening up. When I open my eyes, that's what I feel like a Shakespeare play is starting. It's like, whoa, we got another day to do this again. And I have an internal pilot light. I don't need anybody to pump me up. I don't need some new information. I don't have an itching ear. Man, the company ain't gave out no new announcement. Are you kidding me? I'm foundationally sound. I've made my decision that I'm not only in Bellator, but Bellator is in me. And my desire to fully manifest my goal and the desire I have to see you all fully manifest your goals is an automatic pilot light. I don't need anybody to turn my pilot light on, right? So you have to have desire to reach your goal. That's that octane. Remember, in that gas. Remember, gas has different octane levels. What's your octane level? How bad do you really want it? Are you making excuses or letting your family members shame you out of doing it? Are you kidding me? They ain't helping you pay no bills while you broke. And you're going to let them keep you away from positioning yourself to never have to worry about a bill again, to never have to wake up by an alarm clock again, to never have to stare at the gas pump while you pump. Do you know I never know what gas prices are? For years, all I know is I pull up to the gas pump, put that thing on the lock, and it stops when it goes click. It's a different mentality. A mentor of mine told me he was in a Ferrari shop, and this lady walked in there, and she walked in there and picked out two Ferraris like she was buying two boxes of cereal. She walked in there. She said, I'll take this one. And matter of fact, I'll take the blue one for my husband. Here's the address, have him shipped, and walked out. Like she was in the grocery store and just ordered pizza or something, a Subway, Public sandwich, and said, I'll be right back to pick it up. Are you kidding me? It's a different mindset when you're living a different lifestyle, but you have to have the energy and the desire to accomplish your goals and dreams and realize it's going to take time, money, change, and frustration. And then last but not least, you need a plan. Here's what so many people lack. They don't have any set goal. Do you know? And I think I still have, guys, I got stuff everywhere. Like I thought about this the other day and just scribbled it down on a piece of paper. The amount of time that a person needs to, their goal should be to hit difference maker. It shouldn't be any more than 2 weeks. So I'm gonna give this to y'all real quick now. Write it down. You got to have a plan. Well, this is a goal. The plan is how you reach your goal. But difference maker should be 1 to 2 weeks. And then after that, it shouldn't take more than 2 to 3 months to hit winner. And I'll break all this down because difference makers, you having a node and you having two people that you introduce to get a node. You should be able to do that in your first or second night if you're going through these motions right. A leader, you should hit the position of leader in your first 4 to 6 months. And then after that, you should be a champion within 6 to 9. After that, you should hit the top of this comp plan, which is legend, within 9 to 12 months. And the only way this happens is by everything I've been talking about anyway, which is creating momentum, which is why y'all are still on with me through this training during the so-called holidays, while everybody else is chilling. You're focused on your craft. And remember, there's no space on this planet that will pay you like this one will. And if Derek Brown could do this and learn how to do it, trust me, anybody can do it. So it's going to take a plan. We've got the plan for you, and it's going to take a lot of work. If you treat this business casually, you will become a casualty. If you stick your toe in it, some people say, I'm just going to stick my toe in it. Your check is going to look like a toenail. But if you focus, give it time, money, change, you change, do something different, understand you're going to be frustrated, understand you got to give up some energy, you're going to have a plan and put in lots of work. Ladies and gentlemen, you will be successful in this arena, period. Now, I hope I didn't overcook your grits. Prayerfully, you got something from this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing this again tomorrow. The specific times and channels, because it could be myself, could be Mr. Meadows. We haven't had a chance to talk about that just yet. The person that invited you will put you in our private chat. You have to get a link, though. You got to sign up. We don't just throw people in our chats, all right? You become a member. You don't have to purchase your node right now if you want to, but just sign up. You'll be placed in our private chat, and you'll see when, what link, what time we'll be doing this tomorrow. Yeah, it's Friday, and we just roll right through the entire weekend, guys. And this is why we have the amount of people that we do on these calls. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for staying plugged in. If you receive something from this information in your private chat, let it be known. That lets me know that I'm doing the correct thing moving forward with this level of information. All right, guys, thank you so much. Again, my name is Derek Brown. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you in a city near you very quick. Now, tonight, for sake of time, I'm not going to address any questions. You can pose those in the chat, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, either at 1 p.m., 8 p.m., more than likely both times tomorrow. God bless, and good night, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.